Is M. Night Shyamalan back? Let's find out. Hello, Fanatics! I'm Dylan Phillips, and this is the Film Fanatic review of Split, starring James McAvoy, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Betty Buckley. First, I'll tell you my initial thoughts and what the movie is about. Then, I'll move on to some spoiler-free likes and dislikes. I'll finish up with some spoiler-heavy thoughts on this film, and our final word. Overall, this movie is a decent psychological thriller, but it did lose me at times. Split is about 3 girls who are kidnapped by a man with 24 distinct personalities, some of which might be able to help protect these girls from the others. There was a few things that I liked about this film. For starters, kudos to a career-best performance by James McAvoy. His ability to slip in and out of characters not only throughout the movie, but in one scene was terrifyingly good. The score definitely helped accent the psychological vibe of a dark and twisty Shyamalan tale, and the story was good and suspenseful, but it wasn't perfect. What I disliked was that the ending was a huge letdown, but I'll discuss that more in the spoiler section. I also found that the young actresses' performances were a little one-dimensional, and that the cinematography in the flashback sequences was a bit amateurish. And that's where I'll end my spoiler-free thoughts on this film. If you'd like to hear my final words or rating of this film, pause now and click the link in the description, because now it's time for spoilers. Okay, so first off, I want to praise McAvoy yet again for his performance. I mean, he was able to go between 24 distinct personalities within a scene and show the changes in physiology and mannerisms. From going to a prim and proper lady to a 9-year-old boy, it seemed like McAvoy was actually those characters. It brought the psychology of the film to a whole other level. I found that the flashback sequences could have been a bit better. It felt like Shyamalan had gone back after watching the movie and went, wait a minute, you know what this needs? Flashbacks. And so he decided to do a little bit of backstory on Casey's childhood. Now, I do understand that this was necessary for the film, but they could have made it look a little bit better than what it did. Now to the ending and big twist of this Shyamalan film. I found that Split's spiral into a supernatural story felt a bit too overdone and a bit unoriginal. I mean, when you're watching this movie, you expect it to be a psychological horror, but it ends up becoming a B-flick horror film, and that just took me out of the final act. Alright, now to explain the big twist in case you didn't understand it. So at the end we see Bruce Willis in a diner, and some of the patrons are discussing a man in a wheelchair, and that's referring to one of M. Night Shyamalan's earlier films, Unbreakable. In that film, Bruce Willis plays a character with powers similar to James McAvoy's The Beast, showing that these two characters reside in the same Shyamalaniverse. I feel like this was a cop-out by Shyamalan. This was essentially an Unbreakable sequel, but it didn't need to be. This movie was purely psychological, and it just felt like Shyamalan at the end had no idea how to finish it, and so he just threw this in there and went, well, it's part of the Unbreakable universe. I mean, it seems like he was trying to do what J.J. Abrams did with Cloverfield and 10 Cloverfield Lane. It just didn't work with this film, because these two are so different. One is a movie about superheroes and an action tale, whereas the other one was really a psychological horror, and he ended up trying to make it something that it just wasn't. So, with the thoughts heard, here's my final word. Split is a psychological thrill ride, supported by a standout performance by James McAvoy and a return to form by M. Night Shyamalan. However, the story's ending is a bit out there, and most of the supporting characters are underwhelming. I'm gonna give Split a 7. This film shows that M. Night Shyamalan still got it, and James McAvoy is one of the best actors of his generation. Thanks everybody for watching my review. Are you planning on seeing Split, or if you've already seen it, do you have something to add? What did you think of the ending? Let me know in the comments below. I'm Dylan Phillips, and this has been the Film Fanatic Review. If you liked this video and you want to see more, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Check out our latest Fanatic 5 video where we discuss the best imaginary friends in film. Don't forget to follow us on our social media. We post new videos every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. Until next time, Fanatics, keep it real.